Well, hello there. So, I've ran out of resin, so what we're going to do today is a project 100% out of wood. We're going to turn a cup on a lathe. So I've just put up a 4x4 piece of wood I've found in my garage, and we're going to turn it around. Here's actually a nice trick. If you put your tool on the rest and you let it touch the wood gently, if it bounces, you got some pretty high spots there. If it rides pretty smooth, then you're getting close to round. So we're going to start by just taking this down to round. So we got something to work with. I'm just using a ginormous bowl gouge on this. I'm curious of the turners out there. Do you only use one way that you hold the tool, or do you switch between hands like I do? Now, we want to get a little bit more stability here, so I'm just going to put a little tenon on the end. And once we've got that, we'll flip it on over and put it up in a chuck. And I'm just using the parting tool to bring that tenon down. One thing you'll notice is I tend to use the parting tool a lot. It's probably one of my favorite tools. Gets things down quick and easy to sharpen. So now we've got that in the chuck, we're just going to continue bringing it down. We sped all this up for you because, as interesting as it could be, you don't want to sit here for an hour to 2 hours watching me spin a piece of wood. So if you use your imagination here, you can actually see the profile start to take shape a bit. We do have some flat spots, so we need to keep bringing that down just a little bit. This is one of my favorite techniques. You take your skew chisel, you just run it at an angle, and it just starts peeling the wood off. The nice thing about this technique is when you do it right, you get a really smooth end result on that. Okay, so what I did off camera was I just took that over to the drill press and with a large forceps bit, put a hole in it. Now, there is one issue that we have here, and you can probably see it right now, is that it's not sitting true in the lathe. I find I have a problem with pieces that are longer. They tend to pull the lathe down a bit, so it doesn't actually run true. I think it might be a bearing issue. I'm not 100% certain. It's something that I need to look into, but I can work around. It looks much worse on camera than it does in reality. And back with the parting tool to, as I said, bring it down nice and quick. Now, I'm being a little gentle here because I don't want to knock it. I've done that a couple times already where it's just grabbed and it's pulled a little bit out of the chuck, so it's not sitting nice. And we'll just throw the parting tool on the inside and clean that up a bit. now that we've got the inside pretty much done, we're just gonna give it a quick sanding here. We're starting with a pretty aggressive grit. Well, it's actually an old belt that broke for my belt sander. That's what happens when you put the belts on backwards. They break. Okay, so in order to stabilize this, I just brought the end stock in there, extended it so it's just holding on the inside there. There's a little bit of a divot on the inside so it can sit nice, and that just stabilizes this wood a little bit more. So now we're going to go to town and do some major stock removal here. So we need to bring it down as much as we can, get it nice and true. Going to do several passes to bring this down so I can start shaping it into something a little more pleasing. While we're down at this end, we're just going to spray tool to start on the base. Contouring with the bowl gouge just to get a nice smooth transition between the top of the cup and the stem. And as I was cutting this out, I can sort of see a nice decorative element coming out on that stem, so I figured I'd make a bit of a flare in the center there. Once again, just using the bowl gouge to bring that stem down. And just use the burring tool to clean up those edges. Okay, so Yeah, I slowed the piece down and I noticed that there's a chunk of the center of the piece of wood had come flying out. So we're just gonna have to bring it down a little bit more around there. So I'll mark it up with a pencil. Always loved it. It looks magic when you put a pencil onto a spinning piece. Just that line appearing out of nowhere with no effort. Okay, so I think we're ready for sanding. There's a couple of spots that aren't even, but those should be able to sand out. There's also a couple nail holes in there, but this is going to be mostly a decoration piece, so I'm not too concerned. I'm not going to bother filling them. This isn't going to be intended for actually drinking out of, although I'm sure with the proper finishes you could. It's pretty much a piece that we're going to put on a shelf, and it's going to look pretty. So we're just going to work up through the grits, going over everything. And a couple places where I just need some good contouring, I throw a sponge behind it, just so it'll conform to the shape that the piece is. That's looking pretty good. There's a couple of spots still need doing. I'm not worried about these two nail holes. Just a character piece. I doubt I'm actually going to use this for anything to drink. Probably a pencil holder in the end. So yeah, let's keep going through the grits. Okay, now onto the wet dry sandpaper. This is just I think it's a 600 grit, and then we're going to go over to some paste wax now that we finish that. And we just manually apply it at first. Otherwise you make a big mess. If you try putting it on while the lathe is spinning, it just takes it and throws it. I like to get a good coating on it and then turn the lathe on and just buff it up until it looks good. And we can't forget about the inside. So again, put the paste wax on, take the fingers out before you turn it on, and then you can buff it on up. And there you go, a wood-turned wooden cup. We're going to slow down on the episodes a little bit. It's just the projects take a long time, so for those that have been enjoying having it on a weekly basis, notice that slowed down already a little bit. I do apologize, but it is what it is, and these projects take time and resources, and I just want to make the best content that I can for you. So stay tuned for more.